Kim Kardashian and Lewis Hamilton are making headlines after hard launching at the Formula One Monaco Grand Prix, and many are speculating whether this is just another PR relationship for Kim, but their Synastry might say otherwise. I took a look at their Synastry, and one of the biggest things that stood out was the emotional connection that they share. However, it also doesn't immediately read as a long-term, easy forever relationship either. Kim and Lewis have a lot of water and Pluto chemistry, which can translate to intense emotional magnetism. Kim has a Pisces moon, Scorpio Mercury and Uranus, Venus square Neptune, and Pluto conjunct Sun Lilith in her chart. Lewis has a Cancer moon, Scorpio ascendant, Saturn, Pluto, Venus in Pisces, Venus trine Pluto. This can create a very strong emotional connection. Lewis's Pisces Venus and Mars probably really speaks to Kim's Pisces moon and Scorpio placements. There's deep compassion, softness, fascination and emotional curiosity. Also likely a feeling of I understand you beneath the image. Kim's Pluto Libra energy probably pulls him in deeply because his chart actually is quite relational underneath his reserved Capricorn exterior. For example, his 7th house North Node in Taurus means that learning and growing meaningful relationships is important this lifetime. His connection to Kim can feel sexually magnetic, emotionally consuming, and even spiritually intriguing. It may also even be psychologically revealing for him. Kim's Pisces moon tends to feel people deeply, even when she intellectualizes relationships publicly, and Lewis's Cancer moon and Scorpio rising isn't casual emotionally. He tends to guard vulnerability carefully. He's unlikely to sustain a purely transactional romance for long unless there's genuine emotional or inspirational value. So astrologically, I do think there's likely authentic attraction and emotional involvement here. But there are aspects that suggest a lot of projection and fantasy. Kim has Venus sextile Neptune, the rose-coloured glasses aspect, which can sometimes create blurred relationship boundaries or loving the idea of a connection. It's a dreamy, romantic connection that can feel like a fantasy. It's also an aspect that can attribute to an attraction to elusive or glamorous partners. Both of their charts really romanticize, and so mixed together, it can actually create soulmate feelings, a lot of emotional escapism, a visually appealing couple, but also confusion about what the relationship actually is. Ultimately, this is the kind of synastry where two people can sincerely feel something deeply while simultaneously projecting fantasies onto each other. Lewis's Pisces Venus Mars energy falls into Kim's 4th house. That can create a feeling of home, physical affection and deep comfort. For Kim especially, this is important because her chart is otherwise very public facing and mentally stimulating. Few people probably reach her emotionally, and this synastry suggests that Lewis likely does. A funny little fact that I stumbled across while making this video is that Kim hasn't exactly shied away from claims by people that she's like the modern day Marilyn Monroe. And with her now trying to pursue an acting career, her being with Lewis would mirror the relationship that Marilyn Monroe had with athlete Joe DiMaggio, who were considered the blueprint for generations of actor, sportsman, celebrity couples. Now, what in their synastry speaks to longevity? Their Saturn connection. Lewis has strong Saturn energy while Kim has Saturn in Libra. Saturn can create endurance and stand the test of time. It wouldn't surprise me if they both have a lot of respect for each other's sense of discipline, ambition and public pressure. These are two people who are extremely career driven and image aware, and this mutual understanding matters a lot. Now both of their charts show a lot of emotional weight. They both think deeply about trust and carry emotional scars, things which can help create a meaningful bond over time. However, there are things that could weaken the longevity of their relationship. As a Sagittarius rising, Kim is freedom orientated, while Lewis's Scorpio rising is intense. Her energy needs movement, stimulation, reinvention and social expansion, and Lewis has more possessive, private and intense energy. So initially, yes, things were probably very magnetic, however long term things could become potentially suffocating. Lewis has his sun opposing moon in his chart. This aspect can bring tension between emotional needs, public identity and relationship dynamics. People with this aspect often struggle with balancing career direction and emotional partnership. Given his lifestyle and relatively private persona and Kim's hyper-public world, sustaining emotional consistency could become difficult. Both of their charts prioritize public identity, but on different ends of the spectrum. This can become a relationship where timing becomes difficult, visibility complicates intimacy, and external demands interrupt the connection. Now, transits-wise, Kim is in a period where Pluto is transforming her identity and relationship expectations. Saturn has been pressuring emotional boundaries, and Neptune themes are dissolving old romantic illusions for her. This suggests she's moving away from purely performative or fantasy-based relationship dynamics. As for Lewis, he's in a phase of redefining his legacy, emotional security, and long-term partnership values. There's more seriousness around intimacy now than earlier in life for him. The big question is, will it last? Astrologically, this doesn't read as a brief fling. There's too much emotional activation for that, but it also doesn't scream a stable, decades-long marriage. But there's strong potential for a meaningful 1 to 3 year chapter for them, perhaps. It could potentially be on and off, emotionally transformative for both, publicly significant, but certainly it will leave a lingering impact even if it does end. Saturn is forcing both of them to confront reality versus fantasy in love. If they're able to survive that phase, then the relationship becomes a lot more substantial. If not, it just likely becomes one of those deeply meaningful but not permanent type of relationships.